This video is part one of a three-part series where I interview Thomas Parkinson, who's an online arbitrage specialist, about his business and his approach to online arbitrage. Stay tuned for all three parts so you don't miss a thing. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Ecommerce Joe, the show for the online entrepreneur. In today's episode, we're going to be exploring what is online arbitrage. And to do that, I'm going to be speaking with a good friend and client of mine, Thomas Parkinson. If you're wondering what online arbitrage is, or if you want to get started with it, then keep watching to find out more. If you've got any questions about online arbitrage, or if there's any other topics in e-commerce that you want to explore, please leave a comment below and we'll be sure to look into it. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a great time talking with Tom, and I think you can learn a lot from it. Enjoy. So we're about to start the show and already the drilling and hammering has started. Thought we might have got a few minutes out of it. Tom, welcome to the show. Would you like to introduce yourself very quickly?
Fantastic.
Let people know who you are.
Well, thank you, Joe, for, should we say, inviting me here today. If you don't know, my name is Thomas Parkinson. I run two businesses, of which, interestingly, Joe is my accountant for both of them. So the first business, which I've run for about 4 years now, is an online Amazon arbitrage business. This is where I buy low from retail stores in the UK, like Tesco, for example, and then sell online on Amazon. And I've got a team of 5 who do that for me, and I'd like to think I've been doing that successfully. I blog about it or YouTube about it, so you can see that. But then also as well, about 18 months ago, I created my second company, which is about supporting Amazon sellers in what they're doing and creating services to support them really and to help them out. And that is called Fast Track FBA, and that's the name of the YouTube channel. And that the content we create there is very much around my journey, but also as well trying to show what I'm learning, but also as well helping other Amazon arbitrage sellers in their Amazon journey with top tips and tricks. You know, everyone says that, top tips and tricks, but yeah, that's what I do.
Brilliant. So in this episode, we're going to be speaking about online arbitrage, or OA, as people call it. Assuming that the people watching this have no idea about what online arbitrage or OA is, what is it?
Okay, so to give you an idea, in Amazon there are basically, I'm kind of talking about 4 overarching, what should you say, business models within the Amazon ecosystem you can do. So you have what's known as retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, and then private label, and I'll quickly run through them. Retail arbitrage is going into a store like Asda and finding products to buy cheap that you can resell on Amazon for profit. So that's going in store in person. That's retail arbitrage. Then you've got online arbitrage. That is exactly the same principle. Going to a store, buying low, selling high, but this time you're doing it online, not in store. So going to Asda online, for example, buying there and then shipping it into Amazon and selling it. You've got wholesale, which is buying from wholesalers, which again, you might be buying the same products, but this time you're buying from wholesalers, distributors, and then selling on Amazon. And then finally, you've got private label or branding, which is about creating a product or finding an existing product and then putting your brand on it and selling that on Amazon. So OA, quite simply, is buying online and selling online. That's it. And
just a quick note on that, we're going to be speaking about each of those different business models and different types in different episodes. This whole one is on OA because Tom is a specialist in OA. If you want to learn about private label or resale or retail arbitrage, we're going to provide some links so that you can find out more about those there. But what's the difference? So you said there's OA and RA, retail arbitrage. What's the key difference? The key, I suppose it's in the name, but what?
Yeah, well, quite simply, you have in online arbitrage is buying online. Most of the time you ship it to your house or to a warehouse and then it ships to Amazon. And then in retail arbitrage is you go in store to the store and then bring it home, package it and ship it to Amazon. So the end part is exactly the same, but the first part, how you go about physically buying it online or in store, that's the difference.
How easy is it to start an OA business?
I'd probably say really easy. The reason why I was very attracted to OA over private label, and I looked at private label, was the fact that it's very tangible. And by that I mean you can today go on like tesco.com or tesco.co.uk, I've forgotten which one it is, and find a product, and you can find it for say £10, and then you can go on Amazon and find the same product for £20, and then you can get your calculator out and go, right, I'm going to make £2-3 profit, fantastic. And then you can physically go and buy that product and ship it into Amazon and see it on sale and then sell the product within what? Probably like a week or two. And it's just that kind of, I have a question, I can see it in reality, then I can make it happen, I can test the theory, and within 2 weeks I get the response. And yeah, there's fees involved in it, and when you're selling one product, yeah, you're not going to make money, you'll make a loss overall. But when you realize that one product is just one, and as you scale it up, that's where you start making your money. And you're like, wow, that is really interesting. And that's what attracted me. I love that.
Now, if you're like myself, so I'm an accountant, I love numbers, you might have noticed that Tom said you buy something for £10 and sell it for 20, but make £2 or £3 profit. You're probably wondering what happens to the rest of that money. Did you just add it up wrong?
Well, I like to think my maths is okay, but I'm using a rough rule of thumb, and obviously it depends on the product. So to put it in perspective, each product obviously you're going to buy. Now, I'll do a really quick or simple estimation, and this doesn't include VAT, and VAT comes in when you're, should we say, a larger seller, over £85,000. Although speak to Joe, he's the one who knows all about this than me. So basically you buy something for £10 and then obviously you can sell it for 20, but there are fees involved in doing that. Generally speaking, Amazon will take a 15% cut of that £20 sale price. That's their commission for selling on their platform. In addition to that, you're going to have about another fee, depending on the size of the item, which might be anywhere between about £1.50 up to a lot more. Let's say like £2.50 as an average. That would be the price it costs to ship it from Amazon's warehouses to the customer, so that's the delivery fee, and then for you've got some money coming back. So the difference between the buy price or the sell price minus the buy price and the fees is what your profit is. That's it. Hence why I'm saying like £3 or not £10 profit.
And so you said Amazon there. Are there any other marketplaces that people can sell on? Because I know Amazon is obviously the largest and the biggest one, and they've got FBA centres, which is something I'm going to ask you about after. But yeah, what marketplaces can people actually sell these goods on?
So it's a great question, and most people who started on Amazon actually didn't start on Amazon. They probably started on eBay first. That's the original one. So selling on eBay, very common, and interesting enough, there's a lot of tools that when you sell on Amazon, you can actually list on eBay and it will do the fulfillment for you, so really easy. Also, interesting, if you want to know, people do like Facebook Marketplace. I know in the States now you've got things like Walmart are opening up to third-party sellers. I know Game has third-party sellers on them. We're seeing more and more of this in the ecosystem, and it's interesting. So definitely Amazon is a major, should we say, consideration when you're reselling products on the online marketplace. But eBay is probably the next biggest one, and then there's so many other ones. And actually it's about you finding your niche, what works for you and your products, and ultimately at the end of the day achieving what you want to achieve.
Nice. Am I right then in paraphrasing to say that essentially what you're doing is you're buying products from one place for a lower price and then selling them somewhere else for more, for a profit?
Quite simply, yeah.
And I think one thing that I've never quite understood with all of this is how do you know what products to buy? Because you said there you go on Tesco and buy something. There must be so many things on Tesco, and there's food on there. I mean, can you buy food and sell it somewhere else? So what products do people buy? And are there any categories specifically that people focus on, or is it genuinely just everything?
Wow. A lot of questions there. Yes, you are right. Buy low, sell high. That's what I do. If we talk about categories, you talked about that now. Interesting of Amazon, because it's a brand name. Everyone knows it. I think 50% of all search before you buy now goes directly to Amazon. Skip Google. So it's got a reputation it's got to uphold. Now, interestingly enough, Amazon does a thing called gating, brand restrictions gating, which basically says if you are a new seller or an inexperienced seller, they will put certain restrictions on what you're eligible to sell. An example, toys and games is one that they put a restriction on. Now, as you become more experienced, or if you can prove that where you're purchasing from is authentic, and unfortunately, like your online retail stores like Tesco, they are not, even though they are authentic, they're not from, should we say, what's legitimate supply chain, should we say like wholesalers, distributors. But if you have invoices from them, you can get ungated. Now, quite simply, you can use, let's say, where am I going? So for new sellers, what they can do is they can look at what they can sell, different products, and find what's working for them, and then obviously get ungated in certain brands or categories. Now, the common ones most people sell on are toys and games, grocery, health and beauty, those three, and they are the big sellers by far. That's what a lot of people go to. But it's not to say that you can't make money in DIY. My God, there are hundreds of thousands of products in DIY, and there's a lot of them that you can buy great opportunity on and sell. So I think the question I'd always ask is, don't just follow the crowd, find what works for you and your business, because at the end of the day, that is where you're going to find your niche and it's going to add value.
Thanks.
Did I answer everything?
I think you answered all of them. It's such a long question, I can't remember all of it. The other huge thing that I always wonder with this, with OA, is if you can make money by buying stuff on Tesco and selling it on Amazon, why don't Tesco just ship it straight to Amazon or do something like that themselves?
And it's interesting, some sellers, should we say the more the medium-sized sellers, and I say sellers like medium-sized stores or smaller stores, they will sell direct. Now, interesting enough, the way they do it is they list on Amazon, but they don't actually hold their stock in Amazon. Now, if you hold your stock in Amazon, generally speaking, you can charge a little higher price because Amazon cares about what the customer thinks, and if you can hold it in Amazon, then Amazon will do the delivery to the customer, so they're happier. Now, interestingly, if you buy it from the supplier who is already listing on Amazon and then ship it in and sell it, sometimes you can beat them even though they're cheaper, i.e. you'll win what's known as the buy box and you'll get the majority of the sales. But for your bigger stores, let's say Tesco, Asda, it's just not in their interest. They don't want to become reliant upon another vendor or another store to generate all their sales. They want the customers themselves. They want the customer to come directly. Why? Because they get the market intelligence, they get everything else. They don't want to give that information to Amazon. So that's why you don't see the bigger names directly selling on Amazon. And that's where you can have some really good opportunities.
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
What's the platform? Actually, no, I'm going to ask this one later.
That's cool.
We'll let them finish their drilling. That's the end of part 1 of our 3-part series on online arbitrage. If you like what you've seen so far, please click the like button below. If you've got any questions about any of the topics that Tom and I have spoken about, please leave them below and we'll make sure that we respond. Stay tuned for part 2 and part 3.